I wish I could get those years back of obsessively weighing myself, binge eating, punishing myself at the gym, punishing myself through cleanses. I can't get that back. In the same way I help couples get through, cheating in their marriage or in their coupleship, I I want to give you the shortcuts and the tools that I didn't have during those times because I didn't have the awareness and I didn't have the support and I didn't have podcasts like this. So I had to figure it out by slamming my head against the wall many, many times, but for a lot longer
Yeah.
than if I had a guide or someone that spoke the language and had been through those experiences of pain and heartbreak over and over and over again when it relates to food or a relationship. There are shortcuts if you learn the tools
Exactly.
and you have access to them. And that's
Yeah.
what this invitation is like, if you're still in a place where you find yourself binge eating, which is one side of the pendulum, which does not mean you're intuitively eating. Because if you're
Mhm.
binge eating, you're blindly consuming.
Of course. Yeah.
You're on autopilot. You're
Mhm.
numb. If the pendulum swings the other way and you're still controlling all your calories, you're looking at macros, you're putting yourself into these restricted boxes of like, I don't eat after this time, or I don't this, or I don't that. And like I will never say I don't do anything ever again. I will never say, just given my experiences, I will never say never about
Mhm.
any certain behavior or thing because I'm human.
Yeah,
And that in itself is a restriction in a box.
for sure. I mean, such a similar story, it's ultimately, it's about really ultimately it's about really just not needing to look outside of yourself for permission, um, you know, binging and that type of behavior as well. Like I struggled with that. I struggled with binging and compulsive eating and, purging and all this stuff from the time I was 16
Mm.
until I was 30, almost 30. So for me, it was 15 years of like, huge struggle. And, um, you know, even in the years that I was practicing, I started practicing yoga, I was 18 years old. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, I'll be 44. So for me, it's like, a long time. And even in those years, I was doing both, right? Like I was going to yoga and then the rest of the time I was binging.
Like
So,
one foot
you
in
know,
one door and one foot in the other,
yeah,
which is important. It's like it's the
yeah,
footwork,
that's
but
always what I,
also you didn't have the resources. Like yoga is
right.
wonderful, but it's not like an exact path, right? It's like a
Yeah,
slower, you get to know your spiritual self, you get to know your body through your
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like, I allow, I kind of just stumbled, blindly and kind of clumsily and courageously along the path. And also, I, created the systems and the methods to make it really fast and easy for people now to do it themselves. And, and have that sense of indulgence, but also really have that sense
What
of
your body needs
accountability.
and what your body needs. What do
Yeah.
I really need and desire in this moment? Like
Yeah, exactly. And just like, but and that feeling that that balance, I think of giving yourself of making your of having yourself feel good all the time, and also saying like, what are the different layers to which I want to feel good, and where do I need to pull the accountability lever, and where do I want to pull the flexibility lever. And I think being able to sit with the feeling of discomfort of like, I'm going to kind of hold a boundary to myself, I think is also really important for people to learn how to do and not think that that's deprivation. I feel like that's very important and a way that's intuitive that I teach people the difference between deprivation and a boundary with yourself, I think is really key.
mm-hmm.
And similar to you, I work with a lot of women who struggle with their relationship with food, who also struggle with their relationships to romance and men and developing romantic connections and need support
And
with that.
boundaries. Yeah.
Exactly. Boundaries, expressing yourself, being able to indulge in pleasure in a way that doesn't exploit you. And because I think there's a lot of overlap where indulgence can go into exploitation with a certain mindset. So I do think there's so much to it. And this, I think more people being able to share this skill set teaching women how to connect to your intuition and how to pull those levers that are very nuanced around boundaries and around pleasure and indulgence and radical responsibility, I think is extremely important, and so nice to have people that can share that.